Hi, everyone. I want to take a minute to go over the components of an APA formatted research paper, just for any students who are new to APA and also new to justice studies. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And here's a paper that was submitted by a student in another class. Okay, so we're going to start off with the title page. We see our page numbers are in the upper right-hand corner. All the way around the paper, all your margins are set to 1-inch margins on every side. We see the title is bold. So the font that you want to use for our current edition of APA, it is 11 or 12 point font, and it's just a general style. So common style is what it is. So it's like Arial, Times New Roman, Collier, something like that. That's very easy to read. We see our titles up towards the top, not all the way at the top, but kind of like in the top third. And so our entire paper is double spaced, but here between our title and our name is actually, you're gonna space, it's 4 spaces. So it's not double, but you're gonna hit return twice. That'll get you your 4 spaces. You have your student's name, and then we're Justice Studies at Northern Arizona University. This is for a capstone course, but you'll put your course name, the instructor, and the date. Next, on a fresh new page, we're going to start our abstract. So an abstract is just a very brief summary of what the reader is going to read in your paper. So technically, the abstract does not have citations because the abstract can stand alone by itself as a standalone document. So that means it's not always going to be connected to a reference page. And then we go to page 3. Again, we have also want to note here, abstract you see is bold, centered at the top of the page. On our abstract, all the text is left justified. That means it's all lined up to the left of the page, but it's not centered. So we see on the right, it's jagged. So it's not justified to the right, it's only justified to the left. So it's all even here to the left. Now we're going to start our paper. In APA, we restate the title in bold. We have our page number. So technically your actual paper would begin on page 3. It's in the upper right-hand corner. And this is in your header. So you don't just want to type it in and then try to figure out the space. You actually go in and insert the page number in your header. And then we have our introduction where we introduce the topic. So introduction does include citations. And you see here, if you're going to use an acronym in your paper, you want to spell it out the first time that it is used. Then afterwards, see down here, then we can continue using the acronym. We also have citations in our introduction as well throughout the paper. So make sure you include those. So any statements of fact, we always want to cite, giving credit to who wrote the article. And also it allows us as the reader to go to the reference page and learn more about the citation and actually go to the article itself to read it. The end of your introduction is your thesis statement. This is the purpose of your paper. What are you writing about? So notice it's a statement and not a question. So in formal writing, like research writing, which we're doing for this class, we don't want to pose questions. We actually want to provide facts, arguments that are supported by our scholarly research. Now here are our headings. So this is a level 1 heading. So our main areas are going to have a level 1 heading. And then this student had this section is the overview, and over on the left-hand side here, we have a level 2 heading that breaks up this overview into more pieces. What this does is it makes it easier for the reader to know what he or she is reading. It also helps you as the writer to be able to organize all of your thoughts. I want to note here we have a direct quote. So you want to limit your direct quotes to only those cases where it's really necessary. And that's because if we're using direct quotes, it's really only telling the reader that I can find this information in a source. It's not blending it into your paragraph. It makes your writing very clunky. So really limit the use of direct quotes and instead summarize or paraphrase the information in your own words and then cite your source. So here we have a direct quote. So quote, quotation marks to start, quotation marks to end, space, parentheses, the author's last name, comma, space, year of publication, comma, space. And then we have our page number, P period space 225. Now over here, we have the same source, but you notice there's no page number and there's no quotation marks because this is not a direct quote. But again, it's information that came from this source, so we need to give credit to the author. Again, the student is using level 2 headings here. Now we're going to go all the way through. And here the student is starting on the next topic or next main point of the paper. And so we have another level 1 heading and then broken down to level 2 headings. There could be level 3, 4, I believe there's up to 5 headings that you can use. There's different formats. And those are all found in your APA handbook, or Purdue University's online writing lab has that information. Want to note real quick over here. So in the current edition of APA, if there's 3 or more authors, the first time you actually just do the last name of the first author and then space et al. So it's ET space AL period space. And this refers to all of the authors and then the year of publication. So let's go all the way down. Again, our page numbers are in the upper right-hand corner. And as long as you're putting it in your header, Word will do this for you, which is nice. Then we go all the way down. So, and then our conclusion. So the conclusion paragraph summarizes the main points of your paper. It's generally depending on the length of the paper, generally it's a paragraph, maybe 2 if your paper's really long, but in most cases, you're just going to have 1 paragraph. Your paragraphs to be fully developed need to be 4 sentences. So a good rule of thumb to follow is 4 to 6 sentences, no more, no less. And this means that your paragraphs will be uniform throughout and also, uniform in length. And also, they're not going to be so long that a paragraph can't be a page, but yet a paragraph can't be underdeveloped where you only have 1 or 2 sentences. So make sure you're fully developing your paragraphs. In the conclusion, you don't actually say in conclusion, you just start writing the summary of the main points of your paper. Our reference page, that's references is in bold, top middle of your paper. Then we're going to list all of our references. They're listed alphabetically, and almost all of your sources, maybe except for your textbook, are going to come from an online source. So you want to make sure that your source here actually connects to the article and not the abstract, and make sure that you have your citations so your links in your citations for every reference.